I'm going to quickly review the rest of the subtraction problems and other bases, just using the standard algorithm. So 2, 1 minus 1, 2 in base 4. So 1 minus 2, I cannot do that and get a positive answer, so I'm going to have to do an exchange. I'm going to exchange 1 in my 4's place, which means I'm now going to have 1 fewer in the 4's place. So instead of 2 there, I'm only going to have 1. When I do that, I'm exchanging that for 4 in the 1's place, and I would add those 4 to the 1 I already have. So that's going to make this 5. So that's coming from, I'm in base 4, so every time I regroup, I get 4 more and add it to what I already have, in this case 1. So then I'm ready to do my subtraction. 5 minus 2 is 3, 1 minus 1 is 0, and I don't really need to write that 0 because there's nothing else to write to the left of that. So this is just 3 in base 4. Now I'm in base 5 doing subtraction. Again, I would start in my rightmost column, and I can't do 1 minus 2 and positive answer, so I'm going to do an exchange. I'm going to exchange that 3, which is going to give me 1 fewer, and the 1 that I exchanged it for gives me, since I'm in base 5, it gives me 5 more in the place value to the right, or in the 1's place. So I'm getting 5 more from that, plus the 1 that's already there, which makes this a 6. So now I can do some subtraction. 6 minus 2 is 4. 2 minus 4 in the next column I can't do and get a positive answer, so I'm going to have to do another exchange. I'm going to exchange this 4, which is going to give me 1 fewer, so now there's only 3 there, but that's giving me 4 in the 4's place, or in the next column to the right. So it's giving me, I'm sorry, not 4, but it's giving me 5 because I'm in base 5. So it's giving me 5 more, plus the 2 that are already there, which means now there are 7. So 7 minus 4 gives me 3. 3 minus 2 gives me 1. 3 minus 1 gives me 2. And I get 2, 1, 3, 4 in base 5. You can double check your answers here too when you do your subtraction, that you never have any number, any numeral higher than 4 in base 5, because there's no 5s in base 5. Sticking with base 5 for a minute. So I can't do 1 minus 3, so I'm going to go to the next place value over and try to exchange what's there for 5 more. But since there's a 0 there, there's nothing there for me to exchange. That's like saying there's 0 rods. So I would move over to another place value here, and I'm going to exchange what's in that place value. So that's going to give me 1 fewer in that column. When I do that, that gives me 5 more in that middle column. Now I would add those 5 to the 0 I already have, and that gives me 5. That's great, but I'm still not able to do 1 minus 3. So I need to now go over to the 5's place and do an exchange. So now that there's 5 in that second column, I can exchange one of those. So now there's 1 fewer, which would make it 4. And since this is in base 5, that's going to give me 5 more in my rightmost column. Plus the 1 I already had makes that 6. 6 minus 3 is 3. 4 minus 2 is 2. 3 minus 2 is 1. So this is 1, 2, 3 in base 5. Let's switch to base 7. When I try to subtract my rightmost column, 2 minus 6 will not give me a positive answer, so I'm going to do an exchange, which gives me 1 fewer. That gives me 7 more in this rightmost column, but right now I already have 2 in that column. So I'm going to add the 7 to the 2, and that gives me 9 total in that column. And now I'm ready to subtract that second number. 9 minus 6 is 3. 2 minus 1 is 1. So this is 1, 3 in base 7. Finally, let's go to base 8. My rightmost column cannot be done with a positive answer, so I'm going to exchange one of the rods that I have in that middle column, which is going to give me 1 fewer. But now, since I'm in base 8, my rods are worth 8 units. So that would give me 8 more in the 1's place, plus the 5 I already had is going to make that 13. And now I'm ready to do some subtraction. So take the 13 that I have there and subtract 7 to get 6. 6 minus 6 is 0. 4 minus 2 is 2. And I get 206 in base 8.